Birchbrook by Mark Ford is this year's Four-Mallet etude. You'll find it in his book, Marimba Technique Through Music, on page 54. At the beginning, you'll see this description, forest to the sea. This suggests maybe an expansive landscape referencing trees and the ocean. While these descriptions are vague, they can often help the performer's imagination, maybe even to put it in line with what the composer may have been thinking when he or she wrote the piece. To me, it suggests the two main sections of the etude. Okay, the first being the forest, which is sort of still and maybe quiet, and the second being the ocean, which is obviously expansive. To see this in context and what it might mean in my performance, check out the performance video. Let's talk about articulation. It's very, very important in this etude. Okay? And I think this is a concept that is sort of overlooked when playing the marimba in general. All right, so I really see articulation in this etude as a strength, and I'm very happy Professor Ford very carefully put these in very strategically. Being such an important part of music making to any instrument, let alone just the marimba, it's really important that we come up with some sort of plan on how to deal with each of these articulations. In the first section, for example, we've got all these long expressive phrase markings. Okay? The first longer phrase tells us to play this section really in a legato style. Okay, so what the heck does that mean? Well, legato means to play in a way that draws attention to the full length of each note. Okay? So I do this sort of in two ways. I use a very fluid, connected stroke and relaxed strokes also, and the fluid, connected motions in general with my arms. Okay, in fact, this is all related to something that I teach a lot to my students, which is this concept I call my 6 M's. Count them with me, all right? Make a musical motion that matches the musical moment. So for this first section, I'm going to really use slow, connected, and fluid strokes. These strokes will also minimize attack, okay, and that's going to draw more attention to the full length of each note. And it will also look like what is indicated in the music. So there's sort of a parallel there. Along with fluid motions, I'll also use smaller related articulations as well. So for example, I'll slur 2 notes together, slightly playing the second one softer. The other main articulation indicated in this opening section is staccato. Instead of utilizing a dead stroke, okay, which is just sort of holding the bar or the mallet down on the bar, simply use a quicker stroke that rebounds up immediately after contact with the bar. The second section, beginning in measure 33, also has long phrase markings. This section features a tenuto articulation. A tenuto is similar to a legato, but should have a slightly heavier beginning to the note. To execute this articulation, squeeze your grip slightly and stay a bit down on the stroke. We can't have a good discussion about articulation without talking about mallets. The score suggests a medium hard mallet. So, as a shameless self-promoting plug, I've chosen the Thomas Burritt TB3 and TB2. 3 TB3s here and a TB2 in the bass. Soon to be available from Innovative Percussion. Not only are they medium hard mallets, but they feature a very soft yarn that will be super helpful for the rolls in the beginning section. The overall attack, being soft and gentle, will go a long way to help you play this etude lyrically. When you take my advice on slightly squeezing the mallet to execute the tenuto markings beginning in measure 33, you'll notice the sound brighten a bit. This is by design, and it helps you create those so important melodic tenuto notes in the right hand. Now that you've got the right sticks in your hands, remember to keep your grip pressure very loose when executing the rolls. This is super important. When I'm playing rolls, you could come up and just pull this mallet right out of my hand, and I'm basically holding on just enough to not let them fall out of my hand. This will help the listener focus more on the sound of the sustain rather than the attack of the mallet, because when we're relaxed in our hands, the attack is minimized. Also keep your roll height really low and vary your roll speed. Change that as much as you can so our ears never get latched onto a specific rhythm. For rhythmic clarity, attack rolls together but without accent. Here's a few other quick, helpful tips. Indicated stickings are very helpful, and you'd be very wise to observe them. Just a reminder that the second, faster section has only 3 flats, not 5 in the key signature. That's going to trip a lot of you guys up, so don't fall into that trap. Bend at the knees and bring your upper body down when you get to the second ending, all right, rather than leaning forward. You'll have to stretch from here all the way to here, okay? So try to avoid leaning over, come down, bend your knees, get this down. Keep your body facing the audience. That will work much better. For the purposes of shortening the etude, do not play the first ending. Instead, skip right to the second ending and then play to the end. This is a really fun etude to play. All right? So don't be afraid to really build the crescendo into the second ending and just let it sing.